For the next, the penultimate from Chelmsford. Here they come. It's Ben Robinson leading them out by the looks of things, and you've got Rhys Clutterbuck just in behind, followed by Aidan Keeley. He's already had a winner this evening. This is the Bosch Handicap, Class 6, over a mile. David Probert on his way out with Pat Cosgrave, who will ride Concord, the odds-on favourite here. How odds-on is he? He's 1 to 8. My Roxanne is 10s, 11s Dame Laura Knight, Twilight Kiss is 20s, and Arlecchino's Star is next in at 50 to 1. The non-runner is number 5, Take My Breath, and 5 Go. Concord, 8's on. Let's have a look at him and the others with Jess.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is Concord, 1 to 7. In and around that at the moment, and well, we've had every favourite overturned so far tonight. It will be a big surprise if this one does. This horse didn't need to even live up to his name to win his first handicap at Redcar just 3 days ago, winning as easy as you like off a mark of 55. The step up to a mile in a gelding procedure since his final novice run looks like he's really helped him, and he looks another typical George Bowie good handicap thing, stepping into the shoes of his stable companion Simply Sondheim, who ran earlier on. He ran up a big sequence. We'll see if this horse can do as well. He's got a £6 penalty for his victory just 3 days ago, but no doubt he's still well ahead of his mark in what is a nice enough contest for him to back up. Following in Concord is Twilight Kiss, horse 2 for Mark Hode, and Aidan Keeley taking 5 off. She's still a maiden from 10 runs. She comes down and trip, but she's difficult to fancy in the context of this race. Next we'll see here is horse 4. This is Dame Laura Knight, who was getting a little bit fizzy. She's very fresh and well here for this event. This is her 3rd run for Ian Williams and David Probert. She's having her first try in handicap company off a mark of 52. She also steps up and tripped from 6 furlongs to a mile, which she's bred to appreciate, being a daughter of Sir Percy. And as we hear the bell go, we're going to get the next one. Bit of a gap to, I think it was Arlecchino's Star for Mark Usher and Rhys Clutterbuck, horse number 6. And this daughter of Zeus Star's having her first run since wind surgery. She's shown very little in her 8th start. She had obviously had this wind surgery just to help her finish out her races, and she's just best watched here in this event. Take My Breath is a non-runner, so My Roxanne is one horse that we haven't seen. I think she's headed out to post early with Ben Robinson on board, and Brian Ellison. She's another maiden, and she's trying 1 mile for the first time today. So that's it, just the 5 runners. Doesn't look like a huge amount for Concord to beat, to go back to back and win for the 2nd time this week.
Yeah, time for George's nap here, Concord. 8 to 1 on. My Roxanne 10s, 12's Dame Laura Knight, Twilight Kiss 20s, and 50s Arlecchino's Star. Jess is right, isn't she? There's not much opposition here, is there?
I reckon, Angus, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if I could manage to do 10 stone 1, which is highly unlikely, I'd manage to steer Concord round.
I think you would, George. I have every faith in you.
That performance 3 days ago. And Angus, I don't know if you're much of a rider yourself. I reckon you could too.
I doubt it. I doubt you could carry my weight around there. But I'd give it a go, though, George. I could try. All going to be kept pretty straightforward by that man in shot, isn't it, Pat Cosgrave?
Yeah, I think it's just going to keep things simple. He travelled extremely well at Redcar, and Ben Curtis actually sort of got him lit up a good way out, and he moved up so easily on the soft ground 3 days ago. Obviously, we're not aware of what the handicap's going to do for him, but he's going to go up more than £6. He's absolutely thrown in. He made a mark of 55 look laughable, didn't he, last time?
Absolutely.
And obviously, there was a few, he got an opening mark of 55, was gelded with his time off and stepped up in trip, and he just looked like a handicap certainty for the next couple of runs. I would have thought. I thought he's with connections who know how to utilise their marks, and I'm sure they'll use it effectively going forward.
Yeah, indeed. Look, it's a difficult question, really. The main danger is what? It's hard to know, isn't it?
Well, I suppose My Roxanne is a filly who has dropped down a little bit in the weight. She's dropped down 7 pounds since her opening mark. Brian Ellison's always well capable to find what a horse's perfect setup is. And apart from that, you're sort of clutching at straws. Obviously, Ian Williams' Dame Laura Knight has improved with each start to a little extent. And she's stepping up in trip. You would have thought she's going to be better stepping on trip. She's bred to want a little bit further. And she's been given an opening mark of 52, but something's going to need to be thrown in to be beating the favourite.
Yeah, no, I don't think you could infer that either Dame Laura Knight or Take My Breath are both been here as handicap debutants. I don't think. Well, Dame Laura Knight's running, isn't it? So I don't think you can infer that she's particularly well treated, and there's no money for anything else. Let's just watch the favourite go down. Absolutely fine. Bolted up at Redcar last time up, just a few days ago. Looked absolutely chucked in that day, didn't you think?
It did completely, Angus, and I watched that race on the day, and you're just thinking. The first thing I did is look to see where George has got this Son of 6 Icons entered up, and obviously this was a natural progression 3 days later, and then I think he's got a handful of entries for next Monday, so I'm sure they're just going to, hopefully, if he can win today, which it looks a very, very good opportunity, and albeit an extremely weak race, and they'll probably end up running with a double penalty on Monday. Just
keep rolling with him. That's the thing. If he can pick up prize money, and it's over £4,000 for him if he wins this, so which he should do in a canter. There he is arriving down at the start. Just a bit of a news from America. Lady Aurelia, remember Lady Aurelia? Her first foals run tonight at Keeneland, and it was absolutely spectacular performance from a horse called American Rascal over 4.5 furlongs. Absolutely annihilated a field. Really, really impressive. And it's probably going to be Royal Ascot bound. So, a name to conjure with for Royal Ascot, American Rascal.
And you say that's a filly?
Absolute. I don't know, George. Actually, I've just seen the performance, and it's absolutely spectacular. I can look it up for you. But it'd be interesting to see what Wesley Ward does. He trains her, of course, or he trains him, of course. And it was well worth looking up if you get a chance, because you won't see many more taking debut performances from a 2-year-old than that one at Keeneland this evening. It won by about 7 or 8 lengths over 4.5 furlongs, having tracked the pace into the home straight. Really, really impressive. So
I think we saw a pretty smart 2-year-old yesterday as well at Newmarket, didn't we? Imposing Dreamer. She was very impressive.
Racing one, yeah.
And I'm sure she's going to be Royal Ascot bound, all speed, and won very, very smoothly.
Queen Mary, you'd have thought, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so, yeah. It was a very good performance.
Yeah. Okay, they're arriving down at the start. There's not much more to say, really, other than Concord probably will bolt up here under Pat Cosgrove. Make the running, George. That's what you do, isn't it? Keep it simple. Unless something wants to go mad in front.
Just don't get caught in behind. I think just jump to go forward, and if something's going too quick, you can just sit one off the rail, box seat, and keep things easy.
Yeah, that's probably what he will do, and all being well, it should be a fairly straightforward success in this Bosch handicap for Concord. Having girth check now. Son of 60s icon, giving weight away all round, but he should be very capable of doing just that. Final few thoughts with Jess. They'll be putting them in the stalls very shortly. We're just ticking past post time.
Thank you very much. Yes, not a huge amount to add. I would say Concord looking very well himself. Looks like a very straightforward assignment here for his second run this week to back up that victory on Monday at Redcar. And interesting, he does have some entries for next Monday as well, should this go according to plan, and they look to make it 3 in a week, which you'd imagine George Bowie team will be hoping to do. They've got Pontefract and Windsor back on the turf. Here on the all-weather, this looks like a very straightforward looking assignment. That success at Redcar was extraordinarily impressive, and he was eased down when the time also suggests that it was a pretty decent performance as well. There's not a huge amount here to beat. Twilight Kiss and My Roxanne, both maidens. Dame Laura Knight having first start in a handicap of 52, and Arlo Chino Star showing very little in her 8 runs. So let's see if it's straightforward again for Concord.
Yes, yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Last one on its way, My Roxanne. Last one goes in. Ready. They're off. Mile the trip for the Bosch Handicap, race 6 of this evening at Chelmsford City, and it's My Roxanne. Nose-banded runner got away well with Arlo Chino Star. Dark green jacket, maroon and white on the sleeves, also prominent, and now to the outside, Twilight Kiss is also coming forwards. They will be the leading trio. Dame Laura Knight tucks in behind the yellow and dark blue checks, and Concord. There's hot favourites at the back of the field, last of the 5 early on the back of that 4 1/4 length success at Redcar on Monday. So it's Twilight Kiss. Hands of double seeking Aidan Keeley. Out in front past the 5. Over Arlo Chino Star racing in 2nd place. My Roxanne for Ben Robinson is in 3rd position. Dame Laura Knight, David Probert up on the inside, and Concord still at the back of the field, would currently be about 5 lengths off the leader as they're through halfway. Twilight Kiss leading towards the exit of the far side. Arlo Chino Star now shaken up in 2nd place. They're being followed by Dame Laura Knight and My Roxanne, and Concord is still waiting at the back of the field. Now starts to move a little bit closer. About to swing in line for home. Final 2 furlongs. Up top, Twilight Kiss tries to kick on. Concord now gets the gap through on the inside. He is cantering. Concord moves alongside Twilight Kiss. Dame Laura Knight to the outside there, followed by My Roxanne. They are all rowing away in behind. Pat Cosgrave having a long, leisurely look in behind. He's laughing at them here. Concord. Well, his career has certainly taken lift off this week. Concord eased down. Oh, that is close in the end. Wow, wow, wow. That has got very tight indeed. Concord has been joined on the line by My Roxanne in a quite unbelievable finish.
Oh, well, I don't want to call it because it looks like a photograph finish. And Concord, who was eased down by Cosgrave, was being joined on the line by My Roxanne and Ben Robinson. And you could hear a collective noise from the crowd as in disbelief if My Roxanne has managed to get up, because it looked like a proverbial steering job for Pat Cosgrave and Concord. But it is very tight now on that evidence. Joined on the line by My Roxanne and Ben Robinson was Pat Cosgrave and Concord, who barely broke sweat throughout the majority of the race. But as you can see from Pat Cosgrave's body language, he was still trying to keep the horse all together, and whereas My Roxanne and Ben Robinson was driving at the finish. And you can see Pat Cosgrave taking a pull there. And had he just misread the line?
The outcome of the photo.
We've got the outcome of the photo finish.
First, number 3.
First is number 3, My Roxanne, has beaten Concord.
Third,
despite travelling into the
4,
race like the best horse, he has been beaten. And My Roxanne, fair play to Ben Robinson, he did not miss the opportunity to make sure that he was going to give Concord a run for his money, and the odds-on favourite has been beaten. And a bit of a shock here. We can re-watch the race, and I think anyone watching this, I don't even want to dare what this horse went off in running on the exchanges, but Concord tanked into the race under Pat Cosgrave. He was absolutely swinging as they turned for home, and you can see here now Pat Cosgrave was looking to his left and to his right for the dangers. He could see My Roxanne, but he wasn't really asking his horse at all. He was actually pulling his horse up too close to the line, and he's completely missed it. And My Roxanne and Ben Robinson, fair credit to them, has been able to seal it off them in the final strides. Well, that is something. I don't think that's a race that Pat Cosgrave is going to be wanting to watch again. But we'll head back to Angus and to George to let them to watch it instead.
It's not going to make pleasant viewing when we go to the replay. Oh, dearie, dearie me. What was Pat Cosgrave doing there? I mean, it is totally unforgivable. I mean, he won't need telling that, that's for sure. But it doesn't alter the fact that what he did was totally unnecessary. He could have just nudged and won by a length, couldn't he, George? I'll let you have your thoughts on it, but unforgivable is my thought.
Completely agree, Angus. It was a complete misjudgment, and he was unaware that Ben Robinson was on his inside of My Roxanne. He was obviously looking over to see where David Probert was. He felt that he'd had everything covered, and yeah, Pat's going to hold his hand up. He's going to get a massive ban, and yeah, it's just a massive misjudgment of what was going on around him.
Yeah, complete and utter misjudgment. And we've seen the odd one before, haven't we? But this was starkly bad, given that he was able to cruise to the lead and look round both sides, give himself every chance to make sure he had the race in the bag, that he had everything covered. It's a chronic misjudgment, George.
It is indeed, and you can see him just going around the top bend here. He's following David Probert, and he's ridden a very confident race from this front. David's peeled out wide to give up Twilight Kiss and Aidan Keeley, and Pat's just stayed on the rail, got a sort of dream fit round, and it's a race he could put to bed whenever he saw fit. And